Welcome back to another Lazy Sunday. Today we're going to be doing what I think is sort of like a little electronic keyboard, kind of a musical instrument. So we're going to be putting this together. Now, it's in some horrible bubble wrap. It did come in a proper envelope. I'm not really sure what that's for, but this is what we get. So let's get inside. We've got a circuit board here. Okay, everything's marked on it, that's good. So we've got VCC ground. It's a 555 timer based one. So essentially these resistors are going to be changing the frequency that's coming out. So I'm assuming you can only press one at a time. And it'll be going into, an actual speaker rather than like a little piezo buzzer thing. Piezo? I don't really know what you're going to say. We've got we've got a circuit diagram actually. So, yeah, it looks like we've got, these are going into the threshold pin. Okay. Well, that makes pretty much sense, doesn't it? That's fairly easy. And on the back, we've got our components list. But everything's marked on the PCB, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Oh, look at these. See, we get some buttons and we get caps for the buttons. Do they go on very easily? Not really. Okay, this is probably not going to be very nice to play, is it? So, it doesn't look like all of our resistor values are the same. No, they're not. So we've got some things stuck to the back of the speaker here. Some of our, what are those, 104? Yeah. 100 nanofarad capacitors and a standard speaker. Okay, so what should we do first? I would say the smaller components, so let's try that. We'll go for the 104s, pop those in. So they look like they're over here. The spacing on these actually isn't great. So these are just decoupling. And actually, they're not all decoupling, are they? No, one of them's on the trigger. So pop these in. I recorded a Lazy Sunday last week, but you're not going to get to see it, sadly. It just ended up being so long and rubbish to watch. So when I was editing it, are we missing a cap? 4.7, oh no, there it is. Ended up being so long and rubbish that I decided I wouldn't release it, and I haven't finished editing it. So while I was editing it, I was just like, I'm bored listening to myself. I don't know, I left it too long to edit, so it was a bit crap. We could probably get the resistors in too, so let's do that. These are 1K resistors. Yeah, so that was, it must be around here somewhere. Ah, here it is. It was, well, you'll have to let me know if you really want to see it, because I can put it out, but it's like 40 minutes long. It was this, which is an SMD tester board, like a solder practice thing, except that it has a binary counter on it. And, well, let me explain what the circuit is, shall I? So you've got a 4060 here, a CD 4060. So that's that one I did a video on a little while back. And it's got a 74HC 393, which is the 4-bit counter. And so it counts binary on here. But this 4060 actually gives you all the frequencies out here. So it's meant to be a variable frequency something or other. Anyway, it was interesting. In fact, I'll put some batteries in quickly so you can see it. It's not, oh God, it's such a mess now. It's not super interesting, but it was fun to build. This battery holder is garbage as well. But I didn't realize what it was when I was building it. It's hard to see that, isn't it? Let's turn the light off. So yeah, you can see it's counting up in binary. It's taking one of the signals from the 4060 and throwing it in here. It looks to be probably, what, 16 hertz maybe that it's counting through there, maybe a little bit more. But it was a fun little build. but painful in terms of length. So I've spared you it and we're doing this instead. So let's pop these 1K resistors in. There's one. Bend those legs out a little bit. And the next one. And then we'll come in a bit closer, I think, for the soldering part. Hang on a minute. Uh-oh. That isn't a 2K or a 1K. That is a 10K. So that goes in here. And then this one is a 1K. We'll go in here. So actually they're not all the same resistor. Hopefully I've got this right. We'll put all the rest of them in. They're all 2K, these ones. I had a bit of a hard time soldering that thing because my solder seemed to be really sticky for some reason. I'm not quite sure what that means or whether the temperature. I've recently changed the temperature on my iron because I thought it was a little bit high. So I've knocked it down to 360. So we'll see how that goes. From 383 is what I would solder on before. I'm not quite sure what the result, well, what the result of changing your iron's temperature is. Whether, well, obviously it melts the solder slower, but does it burn out the flux slower as well? Don't really know. Or does the flux not activate very well at lower temperatures? I haven't got a clue. Right, that seems to be all of them in. So let's solder that side. Am I going to use the board thing? Yeah, let's use the board thing. And we'll come in a bit closer. Right, we'll start over on the left-hand side, I think. Fairly easy going. My iron is getting so dirty all the time. It's a new tip as well. A friend told me that I should get one of those, it's like a pot. It seems to just be a pot of solder or something. You should stick the end of your iron into to cover it with, well, I have no idea what to cover it with, honestly. But it seems to condition the end of your tip. I think that's the point. That one is not very good. But they're kind of expensive. They're about £10 a pop, so I haven't bought one. I need a bit of longer solder. There we go, that's all done. Now we'll just snip off the ends. Oh, I've missed one. Just here. Now we'll just snip off the ends. Using my lovely little magnet. Which, by the way, is just one of these Rolson tool magnet things with an extendable thing so you can pick your keys out of a drain or something like that. But it's useful for this kind of thing. Usually I just use a magnet on the end of a screwdriver, but this seems to work quite well. And I've I've missed another one. How did I manage that? I've missed 2 more. Oh, that is frustrating. Well, at least I've noticed. There we go. I'm going to magnetise these snips, aren't I? Well, luckily we have a demagnetizer that we can try out. Right, let's get that out. What is next? So I think we should get the buttons in next. They're the next biggest component, and then we'll get the IC in and the speaker and battery after that, I guess. Now, which way do these go round? Like that, don't they? Oh, they're simple to get in. Oh, they're going to stay in just nicely, aren't they? Brilliant. Oh, bit of a bent pen there. And on that one. I don't imagine this is going to blow my mind or anything. It is, it's just a simple tone generator. But something nice to do on a Sunday. I did go for a walk earlier today, like 4 miles, something like that. Just a nice little jaunt. Let's bring that thing back in. Oh, it's not going to hold in now, isn't it? We'll just have to persevere and do it this way. We'll get the whole top row done, and then we'll flip the board around and do it the other way. Oh, breathing in those sweet, sweet fumes. And we'll just flip that around and do the other side. Oh, this is, maybe there is a way I can hold this. Oh, I just have to get it in between the buttons and then it works fine. Cool. Okay. We can zoom through these because they soak up the heat, these pads, and the legs are just there, so really, really easy just to put the iron on there. Still waiting on the LEDs for the crap badges. They have not arrived yet. So when they do, I will put them up on Tindy, but for now, I'm still waiting because I ordered the wrong ones. Okay, what's next? Just the IC. Oh no, it's not just the IC. We've also got the connector for VCC and ground. So let's pop the IC holder in. It's nice that they put a holder in, and rather than just give you the IC to solder straight in. I'm gonna burn myself one of these days using tiny bits of solder like that. And the IC holder. Not IC holder, the terminal block. Oh, we're gonna have to use one of these tiny bits of solder. I'm not getting some more out. No, well, that's all gone. It just sucked it up. There we go. Just a tiny bit left. Okay, let's throw in our IC the right way around. Is that going to fit? No, we're going to have to roll the IC a little bit. Just gently push it, roll it over. What we're doing is we're straightening out the legs so that we can fit it inside the IC holder better. You want to make sure that you don't bend the pins over when you pop it in. Or just mash it in there and hope that it's worked. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then just the speaker to go. So they've given us some wire here for the speaker, so let's strip that. I can't get any purchase on those on that connection there, so let's do that on both ends. And we'll get the this thingy out. Perfect. Now we're going to want to tin those wires a little bit, aren't we? Oh, need some more solder again. I'll just tin those up. And then the other side. We'll pop those in, solder them on the back side, and then throw it on the speaker. They can probably get pushed in a little bit more. There we go. Whoops-a-daisy. All right, let's get the speaker connection done. Let's put some fresh solder on this thing, shall we? Look at that. That's one. And that's two. Now we've got the battery to go in. I wonder why they put terminal blocks on the battery. I guess it's so you can reuse this thing. I hate these cheap battery holders. They're just rubbish. But before we do that, let's get the keys on, shall we? There's one. Two. Not really putting these on in exactly the same way each time, but square pegs and all. I'm kind of excited about this. I haven't made a musical thing since that stupid pencil made me laugh so much. Oh. Okay, right, battery holder. Let's get those unscrewed, shall we? And, oh, okay. It has got marks for VCC and ground. I couldn't see those immediately. Let's take a little bit more wire off, more heat shrink off these. There's not really a lot to be using there. There we go, that's better. One in there, which will immediately come out, brilliant. Shove them in and do it up. AA holder, yeah, okay, I'm not sure I believe that. Okay, now it should be working. Yeah, it does work. I love it. Hang on. So you can't press two at once. All right, so the lower one, and then if you press the higher one, it sort of overwrites it. Well, that is about it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put a link to this in the video description if you want to pick one up. All right, I'll speak to you all soon.